In this video, I want to talk about two of the most popular debt payment options that you have available when it comes to paying down your debt faster. My name's Chris. I've been an accountant now for 10 years. I'm helping people every single day with their own personal finances, teaching them how my wife and I paid down $43,000 worth of debt in about 13 months. And what's funny is, so my wife and I used one of these strategies that we'll be talking about today, and the people that I'm working with individually with their own personal finances actually choose the other one more often than not, which is pretty interesting. So that's why I want to talk about this. There's no wrong way, like both of them are great strategies, okay? And it just comes down to the math, and it just comes down to what you want to do, what works best for you. Okay, so let's just dive right into it. The first one I want to talk about is the debt snowball method. So with this one, we're going to rank our debts in order of smallest loan to largest loan. So how this is going to work, to make the math easy, let's say you have 10 loans and your minimum payments for each of them is $1,000, right? So each minimum payment is $1,000. You'd want to rank the 10 loans in order of smallest loan to largest loan, right? We just talked about that. And ideally, let's say you had another $100 that you wanted to allocate toward your debt. So you're putting $1,100 to your 10 loans with the minimum payment of $1,000. So you have $100 extra that you're putting towards your debt. With the debt snowball method, that $100 would automatically go towards the smallest loan. So you're going to pay off your minimums of the other 9, and then the extra $100 goes to the smallest one. So what happens is, those first few months you're paying the $200 towards your smallest loan, and once that's paid off, that $200 doesn't go to, Uber Eats or Amazon, it goes to your next smallest loan amounts. Now, that one has the $100 minimum payment, right? And then the $200 that snowballed into it. And you can kind of see what happens. Then that one pays off, and then $300 goes to the next one, $400 goes to the next one, $500 goes to the next one, and it continues on and on and on. And the benefits to this are, because you're ranking them from smallest to largest, likely your smallest loan is going to be something that you can pay off in a year or 2 years, hopefully less. But it gives you that nice psychological boost because you're seeing progress. You're like, oh wow, I see the finish line. It's right there, and I know something can happen here. And you start to you get momentum, and you start building confidence in yourself, because that's a big part of it. A lot of people are just scared about personal finances, or nervous, or they feel like they don't have enough information to make the right decisions. And it's like, so once you see things happening, it's like, wow, I'm doing this. This is great. And the reason why my wife and I use this is because when we paid down $43,000 worth of debt, we had 12 loans, which is insane. It's stupid. I wouldn't recommend. But 4 or 5 of them were $1,200 or less. So we looked at it, and to be honest, we didn't even know what the debt snowball method was, or the other one that we're going to be talking about in a second. So we just sort of looked at it and we're like, it'd be pretty nice if we could just eliminate these debts as quickly as possible, right? And we were really aggressive. We went at it, with everything we had. We cut things out of our life that didn't get us to the financial goal faster. If it didn't help us live or pay down our debt, we didn't want anything to do with it. So we were able to pay off those 4 or 5 loans in, I don't know, it was like 4 or 5 months. Okay, and then we had all this money. We had thousands of dollars rolling into the next biggest one, and then the next biggest one. And that's why we were able to make such huge progress with paying down our debt, because it just kept rolling into itself. Now, the downside to this, and the upside to the next one we're going to talk about, the debt avalanche method, is the cost associated with it, right? So the debt snowball will not be the most cost efficient one for you. It's going to be the debt avalanche method. And that's because with this one, we're going to be ranking our debts in order of largest interest rate to smallest interest rate, right? So it's the same setup. You're paying minimum payments on all of them, but then your largest interest rate gets that extra $100 to put towards it. And again, the same thing happens. You put the extra $100 towards it, you work it out until, it gets paid off, and then it rolls into the next one, and it rolls into the next one, and the same thing down the line. Now, the reason why this is the most cost-efficient strategy is because, since interest is basically the killer in your debt, right? So when you say you owe $20,000 in debt, you probably actually owe $25,000, $30,000, $35,000 in debt, because you're forgetting about the interest associated with it, right? So depending on how fast you pay it off. So if we can eliminate the highest interest rates that you have first, it's going to be the most beneficial for you money-wise, okay? The challenge with this one is your highest interest rate might also be one of your largest loans. So let's say, for example, to use our example, right, $43,000. I think our largest one was like $10,000. Okay, it was I think it was my wife's student loan, one of her student loans. If we had started with that one first, Yes, we probably would have saved hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, like $1,000, whatever. But $10,000 to pay, you know, it would have taken years to maybe pay that off first if we did it that way. So you have to think about it that way. There's money involved, there's math involved, but there's also like your head. It's like what is going to be the best path for you mentally and emotionally? Because again, we know debt is way more than just money. Okay, there's a lot more to it. That's why these two strategies are great, because it gives you both options. If you're like a hardo for this and you're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna keep taking the punishment, then the debt avalanche method is best for you, because you will end up saving more money if you're not gonna get caught up in like, oh my God, this is taking forever or whatever. But if you have a lot of loans and you have a lot of smaller loans, just seeing them getting knocked off your debt list is going to be super, super helpful for you and super beneficial for you. Now, you're probably asking, how do I know what the best method is for me, the debt snowball or the debt avalanche? Well, down in the description of this video, I actually have a debt payment calculator completely free for you to try. So just download it, you enter all your debt information, then you can toggle between the debt snowball method, the debt avalanche method, and a couple other things that I have in there, but those are the two main ones. You toggle through those, you see which strategy is going to be best for you in your certain situation. And like I mentioned, the people that I worked with are choosing this strategy more often than not, and it's because a lot of them have larger credit card debts interest rates. So some of them have, you know, 18, 20, 25%, 29% as a credit card interest rate. So for them, it makes probably more sense to get rid of those, because those are like massive. Okay, if you have like a pretty massive interest rate, maybe debt avalanche is best for you. But if you have, you know, if 12% your biggest one, then maybe you just play around with the numbers. You see like mentally how you're able to handle everything. So I'm uploading daily videos. Let me know down in the comments if you found this valuable, and let me know what other topics you'd want me to talk about in these videos. All right, I'll see you in the next one.